The constellation Perseus hides a creepy mystery in the sky, the blinking eye of the slain Medusa Gorgon. This is the famous demon star, Algol, which regularly dims due to eclipses by its faint companion. An ancient myth says that with this severed head, Perseus saved Andromeda, who was chained to a rock. And today, astronomers have found here a colossal cluster of thousands of galaxies with a supermassive black hole.
When we look up at the night sky, we often just connect the dots, right? But tonight, we're going to treat the constellation Perseus a little differently. We're going to see it as a kind of living history book of the cosmos, one that's filled with incredible stories of winking demon stars, massive stellar nurseries, and even the ancient echoes of galactic collisions.
This really captures the essence of what we're about to explore. It's not just a random scattering of lights, it's a chronicle. So let's turn to the first page and begin our deep dive into this remarkable region of space.
So here's our plan. First, we'll get our bearings with the astrometric profile of Perseus. Then, we'll zoom in on its two most famous stars, a supergiant and a so-called demon. After that, we'll pan out to explore the deep sky treasures hidden within its boundaries, connect the ancient myths to modern science, and finally, I'll give you a practical guide to see it all for yourself.
Okay, first things first. Before we can appreciate its wonders, we need to know what we're looking at. Let's establish the fundamental profile of Perseus, where it is, and just how much of the sky it occupies.
Perseus carves out a significant chunk of the celestial sphere, 615 square degrees to be exact. To put that in perspective, that makes it the 24th largest of the 88 official constellations. So yeah, it's a pretty substantial piece of cosmic real estate.
And within that area, there are about 150 stars bright enough to be seen with the naked eye. Now, your ability to see it all depends on your location. It's fully visible for anyone north of 35 degrees south latitude. The prime viewing season is from September through March. And here's a pro tip for finding it. First, locate the unmistakable W shape of the constellation Cassiopeia. Perseus is its very close neighbor.
All right, now that we know where to point our gaze, let's zoom in. We're going to focus on the two stars that truly define the character of this constellation. It's a tale of a brilliant giant and a winking demon.
First up is the alpha star, Mirfak, and calling it a giant is an understatement. If you were to place Mirfak where our sun is, it would be a breathtaking sight. It has a diameter 60 times larger than our sun, and it blazes with the light of 5,000 suns. It's a true supergiant.
What's really fascinating is that Mirfak isn't a loner. It's the gravitational anchor of a stellar family known as the Alpha Persei Association. Imagine a loose swarm of young, bright stars, all born from the same enormous molecular cloud, and they are all still traveling together through the galaxy. Mirfak is their brilliant beating heart.
And now for the star that has captured human imagination for centuries, Beta Persei, much better known by its Arabic name, Algol, which translates to the demon's head. Ancient skywatchers gave it this ominous name for a very good reason. It appeared to be possessed.
So, what is the secret behind this demonic behavior? Well, the truth is purely astronomical, and it's beautiful. Algol is what we call an eclipsing variable star. It's not one star, but a close binary system. And from our specific vantage point here on Earth, one star periodically passes in front of its companion, blocking some of its light.
And here's how that celestial dance plays out. Normally, we see the combined light of both stars, and Algol shines at a magnitude of 2.1. But then, the dimmer companion begins its transit. As it moves in front of the brighter primary star, the total brightness we perceive drops down to a magnitude of 3.4. This whole dimming event lasts for a few hours, and it repeats with incredible precision every 2.867 days. It's Medusa's eye winking at us across the cosmos.
But this very system presented astronomers with a massive puzzle, what became known as the Algol paradox. You see, the fundamental rule of stellar evolution is that more massive stars burn their fuel faster and evolve more quickly. But in the Algol system, the less massive star is the one that's further along in its evolution. How could that possibly be? It seemed to defy physics.
The solution was as dramatic as the problem was puzzling: mass transfer. It turns out the star that is less massive now was actually the heavyweight champion to begin with. As it aged, it swelled into a giant, expanding so much that its outer layers fell under the gravitational pull of its companion. A stream of gas began to flow from one star to the other, completely altering the evolutionary path of both. It was an act of cosmic theft that solved the paradox.
So we've examined the stars up close, but Perseus is also a gateway to the wider universe. It's absolutely packed with stunning deep sky objects, so let's zoom out and take a look. We're going to tour 3 spectacular sites in this region. First, a breathtaking double star cluster. Then, a glowing nebula that bears a striking resemblance to the state of California. And finally, we'll journey to one of the most massive known structures in the entire universe.
Our first stop, the famous double cluster, is quite a trek. To get there, we have to travel 7,500 light-years from Earth.
And what a destination it is. What we find here are 2 magnificent open star clusters, H and Key Persei, nestled right next to each other. Each cluster is a jewel box, glittering with hundreds of hot, young, massive blue stars. And the best part? On a truly dark, clear night, you can actually spot them without any optical aid. They look like a faint, fuzzy patch of light.
Our next treasure is the California Nebula, and while its shape is what gives it its name, its beautiful crimson glow is a lesson in astrophysics. The nebula is a vast cloud of hydrogen gas. Nearby, the ferociously hot star Z Persei is bathing that gas in intense ultraviolet radiation. This energy ionizes the hydrogen atoms, causing them to glow with that characteristic red light. It's essentially a cosmic-scale neon sign.
For our final stop, we're going intergalactic. We're traveling to the Perseus Galaxy Cluster. Now, we're not talking about a cluster of stars anymore. This is a colossal congregation of thousands of entire galaxies, all bound together by gravity. It's one of the most massive objects we know of. And right at its heart lies Perseus A, a supergiant galaxy with a monstrous black hole that's spewing out powerful jets of radio waves.
So you can see, Perseus is incredibly rich in scientific phenomena. But it's just as rich in story, connecting the legends of antiquity to astronomical events that we can still witness today.
Every year in August, we get a spectacular show, courtesy of Perseus. Our planet Earth, in its orbit around the Sun, plows right through the stream of dust and debris left behind by Comet Swift-Tuttle. These tiny particles burn up in our atmosphere, creating the brilliant streaks of the Perseid meteor shower. And because of perspective, they all appear to radiate from a single point inside the constellation Perseus.
And this all ties back to the grand myth. The ancient Greeks mapped out an entire epic drama in this section of the sky. You have the hero, Perseus, represented by the constellation itself. He holds the severed head of the Gorgon Medusa, and her terrifying winking eye is, of course, the star Algol. And surrounding them are all the other characters: Andromeda, the princess he rescues, her vain mother Cassiopeia and father Cepheus, and even Cetus, the sea monster sent to devour her. The entire story is written in the stars.
Okay, we've covered the science and we've covered the myths. Now for the best part, getting you outside so you can actually observe these incredible sights with your own eyes.
Here's your simple checklist. First, go out and find that W of Cassiopeia. Perseus will be right there. Next, even a simple pair of binoculars is enough for the next step. Point them in the area between Perseus and Cassiopeia, and the stunning double cluster will pop into view. And finally, for a truly rewarding challenge, track Algol over several nights. Compare its brightness to the stars around it, and see if you can be the one to catch the demon star in the act of winking. The cosmos, you see, is full of these stories. So get out there and read a few for yourself.
Thank you, friends. Strive for understanding and become wiser. See you soon.